Hi, I'm Haack and I'm an intuitive coach and energy healer. And today I am going to talk about the third eye chakra. I know a lot of people really want to work with the third eye chakra because they think then they're going to have lots of trippy and flashy experiences and it's going to change their whole life. But I would say the third eye is nothing else than any of the other chakras. So if you want to work with the chakra system, we better want to work with everyone, like every single one of the chakras, because all of these chakras hold so much information and so many miracles that simply teach us more about our own selves and that help us to go forward on the path of self-realization. So the third eye is basically just simply one of them. Third eye in Sanskrit means Ajna Chakra, and Ajna Chakra is the center of command. So it's the center from where we can basically direct energy. So when we start working with the third eye, it's also working with concentration. It's working with directing energy in one direction. It's kind of channeling energy very clearly into one direction, and then wherever attention goes, this is where the energy goes. So the third eye is really about that. Secondly, the third eye is also about connecting to our inner wisdom and our inner well or kind of knowing. It's about knowing something internally that has nothing to do with what we encounter externally. It has nothing to do with what we have learned. It has nothing to do with what our parents taught us. So the third eye chakra is basically about connecting to our intuition and our inner well of wisdom, which is always there, independent from studies, from courses, from work, from anything that comes from the external world. So we have this inner well of wisdom that is, no matter what kind of class you're in, no matter what kind of case you're in, no matter what kind of circumstances you were born into, intuition is something that we all have been given. Most of the time, the only thing that happens is that our intuition gets a little bit shut down because the mind always gets in. So as I said in one of the videos before, is the ego is situated in the third chakra, in the solar plexus chakra, but it also gets very, very strong here around the third eye, because the third eye is a very crucial point of awakening, right? And it's also the seat of the mind. So this is the area of the mind, this is the area of the brain. So this is also where we have our ego sitting, right? Because wherever the ego is, there is control, there is kind of gripping very hard, and this is also what the mind does. So whenever the mind is there, the ego is there as well, right? So the third eye is something that helps us to tap into our inner wisdom. And whenever that happens, we are a lot more in our body. We are a lot more connected to our feelings. We are a lot more connected to this kind of inner nudge that kind of brings us in this or in that direction. And we are also a lot more connected to everything that surrounds us on an energetic level. However, the mind loves to rationalize, the mind loves to find logic, the mind loves to kind of go into everything and make kind of a system out of everything, which intuition is the exact opposite, because intuition is not a system. Like you can't explain rationally why intuition is sending you here or there, or why you had the feeling today I'm not going to go to work, and then it was maybe because there was a real problem, like a big traffic accident on the road or whatever. So intuition is nothing you can rationally explain, and the mind really wants to have everything rationally explained, right? So that's kind of the challenge that we have here in this area. So if we want to tap more into our intuition, what we want to do first is get a feeling for the body, get into the body and kind of feeling the body, deepening the breath and kind of feeling the body and kind of listening to what kind of subtle sensations come out of my body, and how is my body behaving, for example, in certain areas or in the company of certain people. Like, is my body kind of pulling itself together, so that's intuition telling me this is not the right place? Or is my body kind of opening and becoming completely relaxed? So this is something very important to have a look into if you want to work with your third eye, right? And the third eye also, in order to strengthen it, is rather something that needs to be emptied instead of something that needs to be filled. I know we have the tendency to always fill ourselves, to always take in a lot of information, take in a lot of knowledge, take in more courses, take in more classes, take in more experiences, take in more relationships, take in more food, take in more, like everything more. So this is great for the mind, because the mind always wants to hoard more. It wants to have more because it thinks it's going to be more because it's going to have more, which never is true, because it's never going to be more because it has more, right? Because you can always take external material things or even knowledge, you can always take it away, you can always lose it. But intuition is something that is not depending on the external world. It's only something that's depending on the inner world. And it's not even depending on that, it's simply there. So in order to tap into your intuition, the most important thing first to do is to kind of empty of experiences, empty of gathering more, bringing more in, kind of letting all this fade away, and simply kind of, this is where meditation comes in, that's why meditation is so important, kind of starting to sit down and just be. Nothing else to do, just sitting, letting everything settle, digesting everything that happened, and then seeing what arises, very naturally, what arises when we give ourselves the space to simply be and let things be as well, without manipulating, without planning, without controlling, just letting everything be. And then out of this, there will be kind of impulses, and there will be kind of nudges, and this out of this is kind of like this intuition that arises, that brings us in a certain direction, that lets us do something out of an impulse spontaneously. It's spontaneous action that happens, and that simply guides us in the right direction, because it kind of is in a coherence with everything that is surrounding us. It's in coherence with the energy surrounding us, and it's in coherence also with our greatest good. The sound of the third eye chakra, if you want to work with sound again, the sound of the third eye finally is Om. Om is the universal sound, as we all know from yoga. So Om is the sound of the universe, and the color of the third eye is dark blue. So dark blue, like the universe, or let's say like the night sky. So it's a very soothing and very cooling blue that we work with if we want to work with the third eye chakra. Apart from that, as I mentioned before already, meditation is absolutely the greatest medicine there is, because meditation helps you to empty yourself. It's what we all should do a lot more, especially if we have very busy lives, or especially if we live in a city, for example, because meditation gives us the space to simply be and let everything settle in. And out of that which has settled, we will find out what is the most important thing, or what is the most important step to take, or what gives us the greatest value in life. It's just, it will arise very naturally. There's nothing we have to do about it, but meditation is the prerequisite for that. Okay, so that's all about the third eye chakra today. And in the next video we're going to do the last one, which is the crown, which is a 1,000-petaled lotus chakra.